we are in motion. And as we move, the price of commodities has become a whole situation. In Kampala City, just here, a mini survey was conducted on commodities in 5 divisions, and it showed that items such as washing soap, Irish potatoes, maize flour, cooking oil, fuel, and matoke have more. The price has more than doubled or around there since January. What is kindly going on, and how can we fix it?
You know what? It's very simple. We had our own inflation
Yeah.
as a country. This inflation really came out of the, COVID costs, where companies were not necessarily trading in your traditional way of, and some of them had not even switched on into new forms of doing business like e-commerce and all. And some of them had employees stuck at home. Some of them had not engineered themselves to provide services at home. Banks sort of jumped on because they had to provide peripherals for their staff to work at home. So very many industries had to re-engineer the way they work, especially if they were brick and mortar based. But now we realize you can actually do business virtually and still sustain production of goods and services.
Yes.
So while businesses are re-engineering themselves, the risk now found us into a war between Ukraine and Russia. So at the very beginning, people were just watching the movie. It's a war somewhere. They didn't realize how it would actually impact on every single economy in the world.
Yeah.
One of the things that the basic commodities, we have soap, as you've said, and cooking oil and all those things. The basic ingredients into their production is really cod palm oil.
Yeah.
And the biggest producers of cod palm oil, which is now used in soap, used in cooking oil, Indonesia and Malaysia, because between them, they produce about 84% of cod palm oil supply in the whole world. Maybe Brazil does the rest, a bit of it. So that dependency affected material input costs for every single person in the world. And Indonesia and Malaysia started hoarding because they realized that now even China had increased demand of cod palm oil. Yeah. And China is a very big population.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So when they did that, the whole world now suffered surplus of cod palm oil. And we are a very big net importer of cod palm oil. So the only small production, which is supposed to be from Kalangala, is only still work in progress. And that dependency caused prices to hike because of short supply of that basic ingredient. That, coupled with failure to get in bunkers through the Indian Ocean to come and bring fuel, because Russia, again, is one of the biggest producers of fuel. And not only that, there was also a problem of flight diversion, because most of these things come in by flight. There were no flights flying over the Russian and Ukrainian airspace, bringing in all these things. So when the plane started taking a longer route, it increased the cost of the logistics bringing the small quantities of cod palm oil in. So all that coupled together just increased the prices. So by about January, we had about 3.7% inflation this year. But by the time we finished at April, we had about 4.7% inflation. So all that is what is actually making, but it's artificial because the war is a temporary phenomenon. But what that does, like COVID, it gave us the opportunity to start doing our own production of these basic ingredients.
Okay, that's the plus side.
Yeah, that is the plus side. So now that is also an opportunity for Uganda to boost our import substitution strategy on industrialization. So we are now saying that why don't we actually produce our own cod palm oil? And that is why the government is now looking at areas like Sango Bay, in addition to Kalangala, to now start producing cod palm oil. And this Sango Bay is an area south near Mutukula. Over 2,000 acres have been cordoned off to actually just produce cod palm oil. So that program is actually standing. They launched a market which would be used to actually do the trading of that cod palm oil. So now these are long-term strategies that government is undertaking. And even then, that would even help for us in the region to stabilize those basic ingredients for production.
That's impressive. No, yeah, I agree. That's good. So the prices are high for now, but we are going to be better.
Yeah.
Is that a promise you're making?
It has to get better because, I mean, Russia cannot fight forever.
Yeah.
Ukraine, I mean, how long can you hit Ukraine anyway?
Eventually there'll be nothing
The only
to
thing
hit.
is that Russia is benefiting from the war because obviously the prices of its fuel goes up because of the artificial hoarding. Everybody's, fuel goes up, everything goes up.
Yeah.
And there's artificial hoarding and imported inflation everywhere. So all this, for them, it's a plus on their side because they are making money.
Yeah.
But it's not sustainable.
Yes.
And the war has to come to an end at some point, at which point the world will then stabilize, but we will have had our lessons learned.
Okay.